Welcome everybody. I want to apologize, man. My damn computer rebooted on me when I cut it on. But welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank y'all for joining another live stream again. I really appreciate it. Welcome to all my fourth quarter members. Thank you, John Morris. Welcome to the fourth quarter. Thank you for your support. There's the NTZ crew. I hope Michael Beat Your Life can be on here. What's up, Confident Voice Speaks? Roger Walker. I see y'all. All my old heads. What's up, Jeffrey Tatter? That's Doubtful Genius, Gleason Baker from North Carolina. Any new viewers and subscribers joining us today for the first time, welcome. Anybody catching this on replay, the peso is 55.56. You know, it's slowly slipping, but I'll take it. You know, I'm not going to complain. I do want to remind everybody, if you're in the Philippines right now, that it is election time. So be respectful for that. Be aware of that. Stay away from their voting places and don't get involved in politics over here, man. Okay, just enjoy your vacation or your retirement. If you're on the resort, stay on the resort. You know, election day is May 12th. If you're in Dumaguete, stay in Dumaguete. If you're in Cebu, I wouldn't be traveling around this time, man. I just wouldn't do it. The smart thing to do is to stay put, stay out of the way. Respect, you know, their culture, man. Let them, you know, have their elections. You know, we always have a topic. Today's topic is why it's getting harder to live abroad. We're going to talk about a few things on that. But first, I want to thank everybody who's contributed to the homegoing of Miss Rizelle. I keep having to look at her name. Cabanero, which the N has that little thing over top of it. 27 years old, man. I want to thank y'all really for your help. We just wanted to do something for the family. Her funeral is actually the 14th. You know, they've got a tradition over here. When I was little, the caskets were in the house, just like they are over here. I don't know how many days. Some people do it more. Sometimes it's 7 days. But I remember when I was little, I had to have been no more than 4 or 5, maybe 6. I remember my great auntie, she was an insurance agent and a politician in Lexington, Kentucky. And her funeral, you know, the wake was in her house. It was a long line because she was real, you know, popular. He said, that place looked real nice today. The kids were having big fun. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. You know, I'm glad I retired young enough to enjoy it. And my next few videos are going to be on that theme. You know, but the thing about it is, with my channel, if you've been following me, man, I talk about a variety of subjects. And I'm always going to talk about a variety of subjects. It triggers some people when you talk about certain things, certainly race, politics, but I have to do that. As a YouTuber, YouTube gives me my analytics. They keep up with all that stuff. And whenever I make a video like that, I get the majority of my views. Y'all like to talk about that stuff, or y'all like me to talk about it. But for somebody that mingles around with my viewers and subscribers over here in the Philippines, meet and greets, and just I'm all over the Philippines, I gotta know who I'm dealing with. Because a lot of people, they'll just sit back, they won't say anything until you make a video, a controversial video on a controversial subject or something. Then they'll show you who they are. They'll show you how they really feel about you. So you have to make videos like that every now and then to get them people, bring them out of the woodwork. And that's exactly what I did yesterday. I mean, it wasn't no big deal. I just said I left America just in time. America's in a bad place. It's been in a bad place for some time now. And I see, remember, okay, y'all think I be yapping. GoFundMe has shut down several campaigns to raise money for Hinton Jr. What's his real name? Rodney Hinton Jr., the guy who ran over the sheriff, because they said it violates their, violated their company's terms of service, because you can't raise money for somebody charged with a serious crime. But hell, I remember George Zimmerman raised like $200,000 before they shut him down. But people get, they'll find a way around that. You know, there's other places where you can raise money, and they'll probably raise money in his wife's name or something, maybe in his son's name. They'll get smart, but I told y'all that people are going to try to do it. You know, and of course everybody kept bringing up, you didn't say anything about Carmelo Anthony. Dude, if I would have went through all the controversial stuff that's going on in America, I'd still be talking on that video. But that makes my point. We're in a bad place over there, guys. You know, race, and I'm going to talk about race on one of these, maybe 3 or 4 videos down the line, and why it's going to destroy America. America has never been great, and it'll never be great as long as we so fixated on race and the color of people's skin. I'm 61. I'll be 62 in a couple of weeks, man. It's not going anywhere. Hey, what's up, Alpina R? It's a stain on our reputation, man. You know. But you're not going to tell me what to talk about. But my theme for these next few videos are going to be about, retiring and getting the most out of your retirement. And imagine the sheriff who was run over in Cincinnati. He's already retired, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Man, retire and live your life. You've already put in your time. You served us. We thank you for your service. But he comes back, which a lot of 1 out of 6 retirees come back to work. And it costs him his life. Okay? Hey, Izzy Forever, he says, a woman is the last thing you should worry about. I heard you mention this in a previous stream because you speak on this. Well, it's real simple. When I was little, my mother said, take care of yourself. Get yourself together. And a woman is the least of your worries. It is, man. You're a man. Okay? Women are going to be attracted to you. But not if you're a bum. If you take care of yourself, good care of yourself, and handle your business, you're going to have a woman that's natural. Okay? He said, hey, Calvin, does a Social Security amount change when you go to the Philippines because I got mad? No, I'm an American citizen. Okay? There's nothing over here that, with Social Security, that says I'm on a tourist visa. I can come and go whenever I want. Okay, the Philippine law says I can stay over here for 36 months continuously, as long as I pay my fees. I mean, why would moving over here change anything, right? I don't understand it. But it hasn't. He said the golden age, well, hell, if this is the golden age, I'd hate to see when the dark ages come. Okay? I wouldn't care. Why do you keep saying that, Judge Dredd? Why don't you suck his dick? Okay? Don't keep coming on my channel. I'm getting ready to get rid of you because you're nothing but a troll anyway. I know you. I remember you. I put you out there before. Like I said, I know who I'm dealing with out there. But he don't want none of me. He'll see me in person. Okay? Let him have that same energy when he sees me in person. Come on in. They can't see you. He don't want none of me. I promise you. If he comes up in my face with that stuff, he's going to pay. Hey, what's up? You know, life is so precious, man. You know, you got to be miserable to do stuff like that. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about, why it's getting harder to live abroad, because some of what you're leaving behind is waiting for you in your new destination. Some of the people, some of the ignorance, the racism, all that stuff, it's waiting when you come. You're like, man, look, I came here to kick back, relax, chill, you know, and live in my fourth quarter. I didn't come to put up with that. I didn't come here to go to jail. But I will go to jail if those guys come up in my face and try to harm me or my family. I'll be just like Rodney Hinton Jr. Okay? That's the only time things are going to change, when people are willing to sacrifice. We don't want to sacrifice. The man sacrificed. He said, okay, you killed my son, I'm going to kill one of y'all. It's the same thing. You come over here fucking with me. I don't care how many videos you make. You better keep your distance from me. Okay? Otherwise, it's going to be trouble. Period. End of story. What's up, Beach of Life? But people don't give the Philippines enough credit for being peaceful. Remember, I'm telling you about my life over here. I can't speak about everybody else. All those guys talking about what they go through over here and all that. I'm talking about my retirement in the Philippines has been everything I thought it was going to be and more. I mean, I couldn't ask for any more. People leave me alone over here and let me enjoy my retirement. What's up, Manny G? Yeah, he said, hey, Cal, when I'm retired, then I'm done, retired for good. Yeah. I'm just glad that I was very fortunate to be able to retire when I was young. What difference does it make if I've got an attractive younger woman if I can't enjoy her companionship? Okay? I don't understand it. You know, but people want to, they just want to keep on working, man. That's greed, too. That's greed. How much is enough? How much money is enough, guys? Okay? Yeah, it really is, you know. America has never been great, honestly, because of the history. The history matters, and you know, and how it developed and everything. Even now, you know, when people are talking about, yeah, America's the #1 destination, yeah, because we're starving the rest of the world. We only account for 4% of the population, but we're controlling 25 to 40% of the resources. People are starving. That's why they're showing up in America. It's not because they want to inherit our values and stuff like that. Man, we're fucked up over there. I'm telling you that we are. And race is one of the big reasons, man. It's just so antiquated. You know, it's so old and tiring, and it shows the ignorance of our population. That you think you had no control over your skin color. Okay? And that's why people get triggered when I say certain things, because they think America belongs to them. America don't belong to you or your kind or whatever it is. Can't we all just live together like over there and enjoy that? No. Okay? It doesn't matter that they're broke. They don't have any kind of training, any type of education. Okay? As long as we get rid of all them, we close that southern border. That's racism, man. Hey, Sakaria Afsia, thanks for that super chat. He said, hey, Cal, hope you and your family are doing well. What's your opinion on a province girl versus city girl in the Philippines for a single man like me? Well, you know, with Providence women, be careful what you wish for. Okay, they're a lot more feisty. Okay, city girls are a lot more sophisticated. You know, but everybody has their own personality. I've dated them both, and honestly, I'm just gonna tell you that Providence girls, they love a little harder, man. They're a little rougher around the edges. But they are, you know, you're going to get a traditional woman no matter what. But if you come over here and you're a decent human being and you treat them right, your results are not going to be much different. Excuse me. But yeah, you know, just to answer your question, it's just that there's her mother's coming back. Providence women are just more feistier, man. You know, they're more fiery. They love harder, and you know, you probably if there's going to be trouble, you're going to get trouble out of them. Because the two city women I've dealt with, they never gave me trouble when I broke up with them. Well, with the one city woman. When you break up with a Providence girl, man, she's out for revenge. She's going to get your ass. But they're all, you know, I've never had a problem with a woman over here, really. But that's about the biggest difference. He said, hey, Cal, ask the Indians how they love America. People need to learn their history. But history don't mean anything, Hood Jay. That's the problem. He said, I'm 61 next month. Next year, I'm cutting and running. Most of my colleagues say wait to 70. Hell no. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You know, it's all about greed. You know, if you don't have enough money by the time you're 65 or something like that, 62, and I mean, you got something to work with, because every day that we're alive, we're getting closer to dying. And, you know, I guess it's just a risk that we all take, that we're gambling, really, because you don't know how much time you got. Some people love their jobs. You know, I didn't love my job that much, okay, that I was going to just stay on there to the end. I don't care how much money they were paying me. When I quit my job, I was earning about $2,000 a week, but I wasn't working every week. I was earning about $2,000 a week, and it wasn't hard to do. Yeah, he said, Cal, you're doing better than Smokey Robinson. Yeah, but see, that's another thing. We've created this atmosphere over there where women can come 30 years later and say, hey, Smokey Robinson, he sexually assaulted me. What can be interpreted as sexual assault? So does that mean when I was in the 6th grade and I'm running by, patting girls on the behind, running to my next class, would that be sexual abuse? I mean, it's got to stop somewhere. Okay, and the thing about it is, they're not bringing criminal charges against these people. Imagine if my daughter's raped, I want him in court. Okay, dude, you got to go to jail. But no, they're taking them to civil court. I mean, how many rapists that are sitting in jail, rotting in jail right now, and you know, rightfully so, that wouldn't take that deal. Okay, I give you $1 million or whatever it is. But they don't have it, so they say, okay, I'm going to take you to criminal court. But if you got money, they're going to take you to civil court. I mean, if these guys truly, Shannon Sharp and all these guys, they really raped these women, really sexually abused them, they need to be in jail. What's up, Matt? Welcome. But we got to stop that, man. But how old is Smokey Robinson? Do I really think he's sexually abusing anybody right now? Man, the man can barely move. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I see. They coming after everybody. He said, they coming after Smokey Robinson, Byron Scott, etc. from stuff in the 80s. Yeah. We've opened up that can of worms. Okay? They're going to come after you unless we stand up and stop it. And be like, look, enough's enough. If it finds out that these women are lying, they need to go to jail. You know, people are living their best life, man. Then all of a sudden you get a knock on the door. Okay, and here it is, you know, a subpoena. There's some woman 25 years ago, you know, says you sexually abused her. Now, according to what I was reading with Smokey Robinson, the woman said it was 23 times. Like, you gonna let him sexually abuse you 23 times? He said, I made my scrapbook after you told me to step my game up. Kenya, Guyana, Philippines on my list. Yeah, but also the specific amount of money you want in the bank, the house you're going to live in. Because it all is going to add to the equation. The car you want to drive, okay? Earth Project says, I enjoy your channel. I'm an expat in Thailand and can relate to your channel about expat life. Thank you. That's all I'm trying to do. And you know, on my next video, I'm talking about, you know, I'm glad I retired young enough to enjoy it. And I'm showing my house and guest house and everything. And see, people in Thailand who always talk about, not you, but the ones who want to put down the Philippines, they don't have any of this. They didn't take advantage. They're always telling you about how much better the Thailand is than the Philippines, but their life's not any better than some of us living here in the Philippines. They don't take advantage of the opportunities in Thailand. They're renting and all that stuff. I don't put people down, but I'm saying, look, there's no way you can compare the two places. You don't know enough about them. And even if you did, what makes you think that you're living better than what I'm living? I can't see it. I mean, where is it? What makes Thailand so good? It's just what you heard. It's not what you're doing. Anybody can go to a place and rent a place. Okay, show me something you done accomplished over there. That's all I'm saying. He said, yeah, these chicks want to get paid. Yeah, for nothing. They made that a job, Jacob Tanjay. You said 36 now, 52, and I'm done with the hamster wheel. Soaking the game up till then. Yeah, have a plan. I'm just so glad that I was able to retire, man, and get off that hamster wheel and leave all that foolishness behind. You know, people was like, man, I can see the stress has left your face. The minute I touched ground, man, in the United States, the stress was on me because I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop. You know, every time the phone rang, I knew it was something. With my grown daughters, you know, they've always got something. And then I hear their mother and they're talking to them. It's always something, man. You know, and then I asked y'all, I said, hey, look, man, you know, when these trolls make videos about me or you hear stuff about me, don't tell me that stuff because you put it in my mind. See, one of my friends sent me something. He said, hey, man, I saw where they're trying to send around a petition to have you banned from the Philippines. I'm like, dude, I don't want to hear that stuff. Don't tell me that. So now, when I leave the Philippines, I kind of know. I'm like, okay, are they going to do that? When I get back, is that going to be waiting for me? And I'd be damned if something was waiting for me when I got back. See, all the time I'm there, that's in my mind. The less I know, the better off I am, guys. Don't send me that stuff. I don't want to hear about it. But yeah, it is stressful over there. He said, my girl, her kids, and I are headed to, what's this? Kagwait next week? Where is that? Where is this? This will be my second time there. Where is that? He said, just like everywhere, city girl versus city women. Well, I don't know about that. You talking about city girl versus country girl? He said, I just had a California computer training course from work that said that looking at a woman counts as sexual harassment. Wow. Yeah, they can interpret that any kind of way, man. Certainly if you booty watching, man, you got to be careful. And this thing got crazy, man. You know, he said Smokey's like 85. He is 85. I mean, if he did what they say he did, then why are you going to wait 30 years, man? I'm 40 years or whatever it is. You got selective memory. Then go to the police. Don't hire no lawyer. Have him locked up. You know. No, I believe he's over 80. He said, you was right, and I apologize. After looking at the beautiful woman who died, that was a friend of the family, they looking like that all over the fields. I'm coming. Well, you know, Filipinos aren't the typical Asian women. Okay, when you think of typical Asian women, you just think of straight up and down. There's a lot going on over here, man. There's African, Polynesian, European, you know, with the Spanish. It's a lot going on, man. Then you come over here, you'll be shocked. I told you my ex-wife was 36, 26, 36 when I met her. You go down in Mindanao, southern Mindanao, you'll see. He said they taking those pills, got them feeling young again. Yeah, but I don't think does it mess with your mind? Does it make you a rapist now? I mean, if these guys are rapists, put them in jail. But they look like they just coming after people that got money. Yeah, well, if he's guilty, but I'm going to give him his due process. Let him prove it in a court of law. We're not going to try the man on YouTube. You're not a lawyer anyway. You're not a judge. He said retirement boils down to two things: when you have enough and when you've had enough. I've got to agree. You know, I had enough. I don't know if I had enough money, but it really wasn't this crazy, incredible risk I took, because I'm a licensed professional, so I could always go back to work if it didn't work out. But here's the thing. I know it's not going to work out if I don't take the chance. And there's a lot of people, you're miserable right now. Okay, take 2, 3, 4 weeks off and relax. All you think about is that job and bills. It's more to life than that. Hey, Will Bro 61, thanks for that super chat. He said, salute, Cal, 64 years old, retiring at 64 years old. My Social Security should be around $3,000. Wow. Then my 401k and savings should be okay when I move to Thailand or Malaysia. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Okay? We've earned this. How much longer are you going to work till you can't enjoy it? Because it's only a matter of time you're going to get sick. Something's going to happen. Okay? Then it's going to stop you in your tracks. You're not going to be able to leave. How many people message me all the time in my emails, in my messenger? Man, I was going to come this year, and then boom, I was diagnosed with this. Now all of a sudden my back's messed up. You better go while the going is good. He said the older you get, the harder it'll be to go back to work. There is an eventual point of no return. It is. You know, when I said I never should have came back there, when I was talking about, you know, feeling guilty and, you know, how can I leave my grandkids here and, you know, look at the situation over here. And I'm talking about re-engaging that hamster wheel, man. I don't think I would have been able to do it. He said, yeah, facts. I just jumped off the hamster wheel, nothing but work. That's all we think about. That's the new prison. Okay, it controls everything you do. Where you can go, when you can go, the whole 9 yards. I'll be damned, man. At some point, you got to say enough's enough. Just like Global said. I mean, when is enough enough? I know people say, man, I can't give up this easy money. Okay, well, go ahead and continue to work until you die. That's your decision. Life is too precious, man. My only regret is I wish I would have been in a position to do it earlier, at 50 instead of 55. What time's it travels? What's up? He says a new job description now. Women not trying to work, they want the bag. Yeah, you know, and these men, okay, they've got to be smarter. Unless that's just who they are. That's just who their nature is. You got to know, okay, if I'm Shannon Sharp, I got to be more guarded. I can't be going over these women's houses. After he said, he broke his own rule. He said, I don't go over their house and end up going over this girl's house. You don't know. It's like the Airbnbs that they got cameras. You don't know. There's cameras everywhere. But we got to protect ourselves a lot more. I believe it was Kobe Bryant who, after he got in all this trouble, I think he said he started bringing a camera with him everywhere. He said some of these dudes we're defending are shady. They're not all lying about those creeps. Yeah, we're not saying that, but what we're saying is, why would you wait 30 years, Cisco, or 40 in this case? And then, if he is a creep, send him to jail. Why are you going straight with the money? Why are you going straight with a juggler then? See, that's the red flag for me. If somebody rapes my woman or one of my daughters, dude, you going to jail. Well, you know, he said many people would call me crazy if they knew how much risk I took to come here. Well, it only matters to you. If you think it was worth the risk of coming, then why not, man? You only live once. You don't know what's behind that veil. They're making all that stuff up behind that veil. You either alive or you unalive. We don't know what's going on when you unalive. But all that really matters now is life. That's all that matters. Everything else, man, you're making it up. It's make-believe. They're going to see a light and all that. No, when they take your damn brain out of your head doing that autopsy, you ain't going to see shit. Okay? The people who claim that they came back to life, you wasn't autopsy dead. Okay? You was unconscious. You was in a coma. Maybe the machine malfunctioned. And they took you out there and put you back in the freezer and you came to, but you wasn't dead. Oh, absolutely. I'm going to go back, but it's just not going to be frequently because, man, I'm going to tell you, it's too far. Ryan, have you ever made this trip before? I mean, you can only play so many hands of solitaire. And I'm just sitting up there watching I was playing the the slot machine, and what else was I playing? Blackjack. Because I couldn't concentrate on the movies. I'm just sitting there, and I'm literally watching every minute go by. But what I do, Ryan, I go from hour to hour. It's just excruciating, man. It's long, it's boring, and that's not a trip you make, every damn year, really. It's not even a trip you make every year, man. I mean, it's just, if you've ever made that trip, you'll know what I'm talking about. No. Look, man, I'm going to tell you something. Filipinos love me and I love them back. They're not that petty. Okay? They wouldn't do that anyway. Okay? Because if it was a Filipino, they would come forward. Okay, do you really think Charlie Chow Mein and Corey Feldman, and they didn't tell me the name of this other one. You think they're real people? You can go on the first charges. I knew who was basically behind it, but you can't see them. They got that expats forum or something like that. It's a website. See, they were encouraging people. They got a whole list of so-called, bad vloggers, right? These people got that much time to waste. And they encourage people to file charges against you. They'll look at a video of yours and they'll misinterpret it. Okay, now Filipinos don't do that, man. Okay, I'm sorry, they don't. That separates me from regular vloggers. Like I told y'all before, Filipinos know me. They know I'm not doing anything wrong over here because guess what? I'm a sitting duck if I was. You don't understand. Some of the most powerful people in the Philippines follow my channel, man. They just go like this and my whole life is gone. Okay? There was no Filipino that did that. It's these petty ass foreigners, man. Westerners, man. Yeah, at some point, man, you just gotta, throw your hand up and say enough's enough, man. This is good enough for me. All you gotta do, because a lot of people haven't experienced it yet. You come over here, I go to Thailand, Malaysia, one of those places, and get a taste of this life over here. Like so many people do. Look at my buddy Roger Walker, who was on the fence till he came over here. He did like a little tour of Thailand and the Philippines. I think he was here for 3 months. Hell, he's retiring this year. Hey, what time is it, Travels? Time for Cent. Did you change your name? He said, thanks for your channel. In my time of grieving, come to find out my mother had 3 life insurance policies. We didn't know. Something come your way, Cal. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. And I'm going to tell you something. My mother had 1 policy, and it wasn't enough to cover it. But at that time, I didn't even have enough money to contribute. I was drinking. My mother died in 1993. I didn't get sober in 1998. But that hole would never be filled, man. I've been there where you are, man. I mean, it's been over 30 years, man. Imagine in September to be 32 years, man. I still miss my mother. I still can't believe my mother's gone, man. When my mother died, every day for about a year, I dreamt about my mother. She came to me in my dreams every single night. If she's embedded in my subconscious mind so much. And because I'm talking about it now, if I continue to talk about my mother throughout the day, when I go to sleep, because I put it in my subconscious mind, where all those memories are still there, I'll see my mother again. It won't be her, it'll be the memories of her. But yeah, man, I'm glad, man, that everything's turning out for y'all, man, because as an insurance agent, that's one thing that we try to talk to people about. Not only are you going to be grieving the loss of your loved one, but now, because I'm going to tell you something, these funeral directors, man, they're cold. They're in the business. Okay, now he's going to give you a bill. And people's like, oh, you'll bury me in the backyard. Man, they're not going to bury you in the backyard. Okay, I'm sorry, they're not going to do it. He says, if I date a 22-year-old and feel I'm only going to worry about charges being brought on me, Kenya, the same thing, the USA dating scene, it's over for sexually vibrant men of all ages. You walk a thin line, man, But it's with any relationship, as far as I'm concerned, in my 61 years and 11 months and, 15 days, you better know who you're dealing with, man. This is the reason why so many men get in trouble over here, Richard. We jump into these relationships We don't even know the woman. We don't know what she's capable of. And vice versa. A lot of Filipinos get in trouble for the same reason. Man, these relationships over here are abnormal, man. They're not normal. They take off like a rocket. And it's only after a while do you realize what you got. Thank you, D Smooth, for that super sticker. He said, just a friendly reminder to be cool or you're going to be dodging a wrench. Yeah, we'll get rid of him in a minute. What's up, Kamal? Hey. Kayana, he said, hello from San Fernando, La Union. Now, I've heard a lot about La Union. A lot of people, they live up there. A lot of foreigners, man. I believe that's where a lot of surfing, right? Am I right? Yeah, this is what saves us. Weebot B. He says, I visited the Philippines in February. I met 4 women, and all were good women, honest, loving, and caring, not like the U.S. But this is what saves us over here because we stick our necks out. But it's not in them to cut it off. Okay, most of the women that you deal with, they're going to be good women, honest women. They've got that culture behind them. You know, culture is going to teach them what to do when they don't know what to do. They're going to teach them how to act when they don't know how to act. It kicks in. And they're very religious. And they're just good people. They're not going to, they don't see any benefit in cheating you. But the women who are intent on cheating us, these are the ones that we make it so easy for. You know, the woman that took the man for $1.5 million, she got enough nerve to ask him for $2.4 million. Man, the typical Filipino's not going to ask you for that kind of money, man. I'm sorry. Okay? That's not even a red flag. That's a flashing red light. When they asked you for she asked him for $300,000. Evidently he gave it to her because he ended up giving her $1.5 million. He said, there's a reason why Medicare is available at 65. If you really need ongoing medical needs for your health condition, there's many that need to continue to the end. Many will love to retire at 62. Yeah, but another reason, sir, that it's available at 65 and Social Security is available at 62, because when all this stuff came out, your life expectancy wasn't that long. They knew more than likely that you were not going to make it to live that long. Okay? But that's what's wrong with the system now. We're living longer because of, the medical, the technology and the, an improvement in healthcare. We're living longer. Hey, Mac baby, thanks for that super chat. He said, Cal, how much cash reserve do you recommend coming to the Philippines at 54? Why wait to file at 62? Suggestions, please share your experience. Thanks. Well, when I stop, man, I'm going to tell you, we always talk about this all the time. It's good to have some type of recurring income, passive income, which is what I had. When I came over here, I had $1,900 coming in every month. I only had $17,000, and $3,000 of that, Mac baby, was in cash, and then I had a commission check coming for $14,000. Okay, I wouldn't know how much you would need. That's a lot. That's 8 years. They just say $20,000 a year. You'd probably need at least 160, 150, 200,000, unless you got $1,500, $2,000 every month coming in. Plus, you may have, 20, 25,000 in savings. And then how are you going to live when you get over here? See, this is the problem that we don't understand, Mac baby. When you get over here and you get a taste of life over here, and you got this young, beautiful, attractive woman over here, all of a sudden, man, you become alive again. You might be living just a boring lifestyle over in America, but when you get over here, certainly in the beginning, when you're in that vacation mode, you're gonna spend a lot of money. You're gonna be buying her stuff. I don't know what anybody else, man. This sunshine does something to me. And then you see these beaches and everything, man. People are so nice. Everything seems like a deal because it's not as expensive as it is in America. But because your thinking hasn't changed, it's going to take a long time for it to change. Your spending habits are not going to change. You're still going to spend money over here like you do over there. It may take you a little longer, but you're still going to have the same spending habits. But yeah, that's a hell of a question, man. It's a tough question to answer. Most people come over here at your age, at that age, like 54, I was 55, they got money coming in every month. I was watching Gio today. He had a good video on. He was talking about the guy 35. He's broke. And he don't have money to get back home, and he's asking people for help. And, Gio was like, man, don't wait until all your money's gone. What happens is people get whipped over here, guys. They fall in love over here. They don't want to leave. They think the Philippines is going someplace. Look, man, if you see your money's dwindling, go on home. Because now he's in a world of trouble. He's falling behind on his immigration. You don't want to do that, man. Immigration is only $28 a month. There ain't that much love in the world, man. It's going to get me stuck over here behind on my immigration. I can't leave because now I'm worried about getting blacklisted. No, once you get over there and you pay off your back arrears, I'm pretty sure, you can appeal that and they'll let you back. But he's completely broke. He claimed that he only had 4 pieces of bread left. See, Gio's different than me. Gio's like, oh, so too bad. I already gave you advice before. See, if somebody came to me like that, I'd help them one time. Okay, I'd help them one time. But you'd have to come on here and tell your story. Because then it's more eyes than just mine that are looking at you and picking apart your story. Okay? But yeah, Gio that was a good story today, but people don't listen, man. Because he said he had given the guy, he said, where do I know this guy from? I can't remember, but he remembered. He said, I gave the guy a consultation a few years back and told him, like, man, here's what you need to do. I'm going to be okay. No, you're not. So he's had a child over here. Sonny D, thanks for that super chat. He said, have you ever seen a new cemetery being built in the U.S., even during COVID? This is big business. I really haven't. I was talking about this when I was at home because, a lot of my ex-American wife's family died while I was over here. And we were just talking. I was like, I wonder where they're putting all these bodies. Because according to the law, there can only be 2 deep. You can only stack one casket on top of another. Okay. In some states, you can't even do that. But it's big business. But see, a lot of these, I'm not even going to give him a second chance. I got rid of him. Ready. Yeah, he's out of here. He says, do you think there will be any reform of the driver requirements so that people stop getting killed in senseless accidents? I saw the recent accident at the airport. Well, it really happens everywhere. It doesn't just happen in the Philippines. But I was talking about that. I was like, there needs to be more I was thinking, like, could that happen in America? Yeah, because when they dropped me off at the airport coming back here, he just dropped me off right in front of the airport, the departure area. It's just that when you look at that, he claimed he wasn't paying attention. People are distracted, Switchgear, and we're not going to do anything about that. They knew when they created these cell phones. They already knew the distraction and the problems that was going to come with it. They've got actuaries who know how many people are going to die, how many people are going to be involved in accidents because of these damn cell phones. Ask Maryland, when we were in Manila before we came back here, how many people literally walked right into me looking in that damn phone? This is a remote, but they're looking like this. Walked into me, and how many times I had to step out of the way? I don't know what they're going to investigate, but supposedly, I don't even know, he hit the gas instead of the brake. But you got to understand, TJ, even at a fancy airport like O'Hara, they didn't have anything. If one of those guys would have did the same thing, it would have been all them people standing out there to get run over, but somebody would have got run over. Go to O'Hara. One thing that kind of amazes me here in the Philippines, okay, the design of some of their buildings. Okay, the thing about O'Hara, you got each different airline, and you got like so many different entries, so many different, doors you can go through. Not everybody's going through that same door like at Terminal 1 in the Philippines. That's a design flaw. They've even got malls like that, man. Look, they got a KCC mall, brand new mall, I guess it's about 5 or 6 years old, down in Zamboanga, right? I'm talking about thousands and thousands of people coming to that mall, but it's only one way in and one way out. If something ever happened there, God forbid, so many people are going to die there. If you go to the typical mall in America, you got several entries and several exits. You can just go through like the main Dillard store. That's an entry. Then you got the main entry. Then you got all J.C. Penney. You go through there. In KCC, just like it is at Terminal 1, they've got one entry point where everybody has to gather right there and stand in line. That was the problem to me. Hey, Michael Onstead, thanks for that super chat. He said, you have a meet and greet coming up. I do, but it's going to be here. The first one is going to be in San Carlos City. Because, man, I was traveling, man. Really, I'm beat. And it'll probably be somewhere around my birthday, the end of this month. But for anybody who's trying to, because I want to see you, I'm going to take that policy that he offered me. Of course, I'm a year older, but it doesn't matter. I'm still no medicine. I'm still in great shape. This is the guy to talk to, guys, for health insurance over here. Really. Okay? But remember, your health buys your health insurance, not your money. But this is the guy to see, and I'll put his link in my description like I always do. Because this is a good friend of mine, man. He still works. I retired. But I try to help my fellow insurance men when I can. He says that was a crazy story. He needs to get back to the U.S. and do some work to support his family. Yeah, at 35, there's no excuse for that. Yeah, he needs to really get back. He should have been back. But people fall in love, Philip. They get whipped over here. Because I'm going to tell you, they've never experienced the kind of love and care that they get over here. That's just being honest, man. And the sun is shining and the people treat you, man, like a celebrity. I've never been treated as well anywhere in the world as I am here. And they can't let it go. They think, them long distance relationships, man, you know, you can't miss what you never had. But you come over here and you get whipped like that, and it's going to be hard. It's a lot of guys right now, they'll never come on Gio's channel. They'll never send a message. They're in his same situation, trying to work over here without the proper visa. They've run out of money. Okay? It's crazy, man. I'm warning you, don't do it. The Philippines is not going anywhere. Them planes is flying back and forth, man, all day long. I wouldn't do it. Hey, Norton Williams, welcome to the fourth quarter, man. Thank you for your support. I'm going to do a members only live stream in the morning. He said cell phones are an addiction. Yeah, they knew exactly what they were doing, Cisco. They know that for every product that they put on the market, they know how many people are going to die, how many people are going to get injured, the problems it's going to cause. They know that. Them cell phones, man, boy, I tell you what, there's no answer to that. They've got our attention, man. I mean, lock, stock, and barrel. I'm sorry, man. Them damn cell phones are dangerous. Imagine, they're saying when you're on that cell phone, you're worse than being drunk. That's worse than drunk driving. Look, in 2016, man, I got hit. A guy was on his cell phone, ran right through the red light. The thing to save me, I was in a BMW, man. BMWs, man, they're good. If I was in a regular car, I probably would have got paralyzed or hurt or something. And I had just taken off from the light. Okay, it was the guy in front of me. The light turns green, he takes off. Then, you know, I wait a second or two and I take off. The minute I took out, boom, spins me around because it's kind of wet. This cocksucker was on his phone. Somebody saw it. They say, hey, man, that guy was texting and driving. And, you know, he was, good thing he had insurance, number one, but he didn't lie. He said, yeah, I was reading a message. And he ran right through stop sign. I mean, not stop sign, the red light. And smacked me, T-boned me, man. And I'm like, damn. I can't remember being in an accident like that. I was just thankful that I wasn't really hurt. But, you know, I still had to make sure to go to rehab and all that just in case something showed up. Hey, Swiss Gear, thanks for the super chat. He said, thanks for the response. Man, I try my best. Even if it's not a live stream, man, if you send me something, I'm going to respond, man. I mean, why wouldn't I? It's because of my viewers and subscribers that I'm even, you know, able to enjoy a lot of things I'm enjoying right now. He said, facts about structural engineering and architectural designs in the States. Building code works for the best. Yeah, over here, that's one of the problems I see. A lot of design flaws. Now, I can give credit over here at the Gaisano Mall in St. Carlos City. They have two. Okay, one in the front and then the one in the back. Really like on the side. But the KCC Mall, I'm talking, it's a big, gigantic mall, man. You got one way in and one way out. He says, if you're not one of those heavy partiers, bar hopping and woman chasing, you'll be just fine when you retire in the Philippines. To me, 1,500 and above will hit the spot and have some savings. I have to agree with you. At least 1,500. I won't even consider 1,000 anymore, guys. We've been talking $1,000 a month for how many years now? At some point, it's got to go up. I'm going to say a minimum 1,500. And certainly in a place like San Carlos, because on my next video, I went past, me and Marilyn, we walked past these apartments here. They're called San Carlos City Apartels, but they've got upstairs and downstairs are fully furnished, but they want $25,000. So what's that right now? About 400, say $450 a month. You know, then you're talking 28 for immigration, and then you're gonna say another 100, 125 for electric and water. And now you got your food. Yeah, you should be able to get by on 1,500, because I've got a video, just look it up, man. It's called $175 apartment in St. Carlos City, 10,000. It's a 1-bedroom, man, in an upper middle class area here in St. Carlos City. They only want 10,000, fully furnished. You're not going to find a better place in all the Philippines. I guarantee you that. Yeah, it's certainly not the racism that has plagued America for all these centuries, man. I mean, it's just, at some point you got to say, look, guys, we got to outgrow this. I mean, this is ignorance. I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't know what to call it. And the only thing worse than racism is racism deniers. People who sit around and act like it doesn't exist. Oh, you're playing the race card. Everything's not race. When a lot of times in America it is. Okay? I'm sorry. Now, the GoFundMe, not only did they deny these campaigns for Rodney Hinton Jr., the one who ran over the sheriff deputy, but they personally wrote an apology letter to the FOP in Cincinnati. Now, come on, man. Y'all going above and beyond. Just deny the man's campaign. Okay? Because that police's life is no more important than his son's life. Okay? At the end of the day. Okay? Rest in peace to both of them. But this is what I'm talking about, guys. Okay? When you start doing stuff like that, that's when you muddy in the water. He said, yeah, hit the thumbs up, guys. Yeah, I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel, man. We trying to, man, I've been stuck on 68,000. Like, come on, man. At least hit the like. Let the videos go out to some other people who may decide to subscribe. You don't want to. I don't know. He says the person is a former addict. Why do the fields bring out the wild man out of a good man? I don't know what you're talking about. I got sober in 1998, long before I came to the Philippines. And I've been sober for 11 years before I ever came to the Philippines, but I don't know what you're talking about. What's up, Thomas? But yeah, that stuff gets old, man. You know, racism gets old. It's got old to me. You know, I don't care if they talk about your colorism. That's different than racism. And then colorism's not going to bother me over here because I'm not going to apply for a job. I'm not running for public office. I'm not trying to be a singer or entertainer and you know, and get into the movies or a beauty contest or anything like that. Okay? But the problem is when people deny it. They're like, it's not true. It's like, oh, you're playing the victim. This is what pisses me off more than anything. He said, yeah, same thing happened to me in Wisconsin. T-bone at an intersection. She was typing on GPS. Yeah, it's crazy. But they know, I mean, even, okay, just something simple as bottled water. Yeah, you know, they already knew, because you know these plastic bottles, you know what they made of, don't you? Okay, they make that stuff out of oil. And, you know, when they got these, and I didn't realize that till I was working on these oil refineries, how much is made out of this crude oil. And a lot of times when you let them just sit around with water in there, that, you know, they can't, there's oil in that plastic. People are getting sick. But they know all this stuff, man. Every product you're using, they know the risk. They know how many people are going to die every year from swallowing a small, that's why they put that on the toys, not for somebody less than 3, small parts and all that. They already know the risk involved, guys. Okay? Well, Rob, he said no money, no honey, but at the same time, no honey, no money. See, we got to make it even now. We got to keep honest people honest. That's what the unspoken agreement is about. There's nothing wrong with that. When 2 consenting adults agree on something, okay, that's what most of us start out with anyway. He said the electrical is dangerous over there. I know, I do electrical work. They are crazy over there. Well, in certain areas they are. In squatter areas where a lot of times they're feeding off illegal lands. Okay? That, you see what I'm saying? Like, you can go to places here, man, you be like, man, I wouldn't go anywhere near it. But in my house, man, this guy was certified electrician. Because what happens is, you got to have your house inspected by the fire department here and everything. Well, I'm going to tell you something. He said downtown St. Carlos looks so much better than downtown Louisville, Kentucky. Well, it's just as clean. It's not as modern, but, man, this place is clean. It's nice, man. Very seldom will you see a place like this, and I'm showing you a lot of it on this next video. All this wide open spaces, all this greenery, because in most cities here, there'll be squatters on there, but not here. This is a beautiful place, lots of shade. But what I like about it as a foreigner, man, the crime, man, basically doesn't even exist here. I can't remember. I don't remember a foreigner ever getting robbed here. I can't remember hearing about it. Now, locals, yeah. But foreigners, no. Hey, what's up, D-Man Morales? I met him at it's a good guy, too. He's smart, man. He's been to the Philippines 4 times. He hasn't retired yet, but that hasn't stopped him from traveling and getting a break, man. Hell, he's been on his job, 42 years, he said. He got a good job. But at some point, man, you got to take a break, man. Yeah, we were at the filling station together. He had a little honey with him, There's nothing wrong with that. He's older than me. I think we may be the same age. But anyway, he said he's got another year or 2 to work before he retires. But that don't stop him from taking a vacation and really going somewhere that you really want to go. I would at least come to wherever you're trying to come before I would even think about how much money I'm going to need and all that. You see if you're going to like it. I mean, experience it, man. Experience that long-ass plane ride. Now, he's from L.A., California somewhere, so he's got that. It's still a 15-hour flight, but it's just only one airline. But you need to do all of that. People think I just moved over here. I didn't. You got to realize I was coming back and forth from 2009 until I moved here in 2018. I knew enough about the Philippines for me to make the move. It wasn't some big risk that a lot of you guys are taking. You're really taking a risk because you don't know enough. You're in too much of a hurry. That was 9.5 years of coming back and forth to the Philippines. I knew just about what to expect over here. I knew about how much money I was going to need. I knew where I wanted to live, where I didn't want to live, what I was going to do when I got over here. I knew enough about the local culture to respect it and all of that. A lot of you guys, man, you're moving too fast. He said, hey, Cal, I had a great time on my first visit to the Philippines. I'm already Philippine sick. Met some great people, and the new little province girl I met in Depola is an amazing new friend. Unless you're dead, man, and you're just real difficult, man, the Philippines will grab a hold of you. Now, I'm not going to lie, it grabbed a hold of me. I can only speak for myself. The very first time I came here, imagine, I was only here 2 weeks, man. When I went to the airport, man, I had tears in my eyes. The woman went to the airport with me. I didn't want to leave. I had such a great time, man. We stayed at the resort. I mean, I just had never, experienced anything like that before. I mean, and I was like, damn, man, but I was back in 2 months. See, I was an insurance agent, and I came back about every 2 months, sometimes less than that. Yeah, but it's not up in your face like it is. I don't experience it here. Okay? I'm pretty sure it does exist. It exists everywhere. Wherever Europeans, wherever the white man's been, because he created racism. Look that up. Okay? I'm sorry. The racism as we know it. Okay, why do you think that Napoleon, y'all realize that history doesn't mean anything. The Sphinx in Africa, he had his men shoot the nose off the damn thing. Okay? He said we can't go back to Europe and tell these people what we found in Africa. Africans are so far ahead of those people. Okay? So everywhere the white man's been, there's going to be racism. So he was here for how many years? The Europeans was here, the Spanish first, then the Americans. But it's nothing like the racism in America. It's nothing like it. And I don't have to deal with it. Remember, I'm on the outside. And I would suggest to anybody moving into a different country, whether it's the Philippines or wherever, to be on the outside, man. You don't want to contaminate the people's culture, because that's what we're doing. We do mess it up over here, Gerald. Okay, we mess it up. I didn't believe it at first. When people was like, oh, there's too many foreigners coming over, they're going to mess it up. I used to push back against that, but no, they're exactly right. We bring all that bullshit over here, fighting each other, filing false charges, disrespecting the culture over here and the people. Just the smidgen of people who come over here, man. We've done a hell of a job over here, changing the perception. When all they want to do is roll out the red carpet for you, because a lot of people, okay, if you don't think the Philippines is a unicorn, go to Portugal then. Take your ass to Portugal and see how they treat your ass. And any tourists, they only want tourists there. He said, where you at in St. Carlos? Is dating possible because the prices you name sound good? But having a woman to take care of you in the fields can definitely raise the stakes. Well, most of us, we meet women online. Okay, is it possible to meet a woman here? Yeah. I mean, you got to be a decent human being. You got to have some conversation, some persuasion. Of course it's possible. But the thing about St. Carlos City, it's not Cebu. It's not even Dumaguete. It's not an urban city. So a young guy like you, Rashad, you probably wouldn't like it here. It doesn't have enough going on for you. I mean, now, there have been some young guys come here, but they didn't stay. I have to tip my hat to Greg Williams. He stayed. I think he's 52 or something. But most of those guys, it's not enough going on for them. So they'll end up moving to Dumaguete, Bacolod, Iloilo, Cebu, somewhere in the Visayas region. See, we're like in the middle of the Philippines, where we are. He said, salute to you from Chicago. He said, I enjoy your content and thank you for your service. I spent 2 weeks in Thailand in March. Hope to visit the Philippines soon. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. A friend of mine is in Thailand right now, him and his girlfriend. He took his girlfriend for her birthday. He took her to Thailand. and they're in Thailand right now. I don't think they'll come to the Philippines. But they're having a heck of a time. I'm following him on Facebook, and it's like day 6 or 7. They've been over there now. Everything's new to them because I don't think they've ever been to Thailand. They go to a lot of different places about once or twice a year. Maybe they will end up coming over here. I might shoot them a message like, look, man, next year, come on over here. I can show you around. They need to put some respect on the Philippines, man. I don't get it. It's just some people, they don't have nothing good to say about the Philippines. Knowing good and well, man, that whatever you got in your country, they got it here. If you got the money. A lot of guys who be talking that stuff about the Philippines, they don't have the money to really, go to that other level. Okay, I'm sorry. But they don't. Oh, he says Cagway is in Surigao del Sur. Okay. Is that like a resort? Is it Surigao or Surigao? Because Michael Beach Alive is right. It's the same thing. And see, I'm gonna tell you something, Kamal. YouTube is responsible for this too. But I guess because I'm at a certain level, they're trying to see, okay, likes will get your channel seen by more people. They're saying, hey, maybe your videos you need to help yourself. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't take a whole lot to hit the like button. Share the video, subscribe or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't hate anybody either, but yeah, I hate. I despise racism, man. It's just so ignorant, And if you're supposed to be superior, then why do you need all the rules in your favor and all that stuff? If you're really better than me, then the cream rises to the top. You don't need all those advantages. You don't need to hold me back and obstruct my movements and everything like that. You don't need an uneven playing field and all of that. You're telling me that's somebody who's less than me that needs all that stuff, not somebody who's better than me. Come on, man, talk to me. They act like you're stupid. If you're so much better, if you really are superior, why do you need all those advantages then? You wouldn't need those advantages. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But somebody who's not, I don't believe in it. There's no such thing as a superior race or an inferior race. That's all junk science, guys. Okay, that's put out there for a reason. To conquer, to divide and conquer. Okay? Yeah, Surigao is on the mainland. Surigao is the island, just for your information, it's often confused. Yeah, it's confused a lot because you even trying to pronounce it. Surigao, S-I-A, is where all the foreigners go. But yeah, guys, I don't know what it is. My battery is ran low on my computer. And this damn thing's been on the charger all day. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to my cell phone. Hold on. I'm going to have to switch because it's getting ready to cut out. But yeah, see, that's one of the places I've yet to go, Michael Beach of Life. Surigao, I want to go. Merlin wants to go. That's where all the surfers and what they call that, something Nan, where all the people go. It's really a nice place. I've never been there before. Yeah, let me get this phone together. Well, I forgot I cut it off. I'm going to have to reboot it. I should have enough time. If I lose y'all, don't go anywhere. Yeah, he says, here's what I'm talking about. This is true right here. See, I didn't know this until I started working on those oil refineries. That crude oil is used to make a whole lot of stuff. And this is one of the things that's used to make. He said, I tried to avoid bottled water if possible. Yeah, but, you know, they know all the little risk involved, all the numbers and everything. Well, I didn't steal anything. Okay? I don't steal. I'm sorry. You know, people are, you know, these are grown men, right? Who waste their time. They have these little fake profiles and they come on your channel. I mean, I just don't get it, man. I mean, you know, that's another thing that plagues the West. We're too immature, man. We're very immature. He said, I stick out like a sore thumb in Asia of white and gray, but they don't really bother you, though. He said, my man said 17,000 USD, like that's how normal humans use English. Yeah, I'm just saying, though, you know, people think they know more about you than they really do. Well, it's the system, man, okay? I don't condone that guy. Don't come on here putting stuff in my mind. I don't condone what he did. That man's got a family too. But I'm saying that we can't tell that man how to feel about his son. Okay? They killed his son, Joe. And he said, okay, I don't know who, because remember, Joe, they're hiding the identity of the police that killed his son. Maybe you need to go back and read that, because obviously you don't know what you're talking about. So how would he know which police he did when they're hiding his identity? So he said, I'm going to get one of them. I'm going to strike back at the system. Okay? All right? Yeah. So no, I don't condone any violence like that. But I understand where he's coming from, because I felt the same way. Okay? Now, there's no judge in the world would have sentenced his son to the death penalty for riding around a stolen car, or running from the police, or carrying a gun. Okay? That's not a death sentence, Joe. I don't care what you or anybody else says. That's not a death sentence. Okay? So get off my channel with that foolishness. That's what I'm talking about. That's the reason why I left America. Because y'all ignorant over there. How are we going to tell that man how to feel about his son? They killed his son. I don't know what he was thinking, actually, in his mind. But he wanted revenge. Okay, and in his mind, he got it. He didn't bring his son back. Let me scoot this over. But y'all killed me trying to put words in his mouth. Joe, go back and bring some facts, because with you MAGAs, facts don't mean nothing. Trump don't even need y'all anymore. He used y'all. Now, put that in your pipe and smoke it, because everything he's doing is robbing y'all. You know, get off my channel with that stupid stuff. He doesn't know the identity of the police that killed his son. They're hiding the identity. Okay? They won't tell you who did it. Maybe he would have went after that guy. Stupid ass fool. This is why you got to leave America. Okay? I'm just telling you. Okay, guys. I'm almost ready. A random cop. It was the system he's standing for. Okay, I'm cutting it off here. There. Now I got to plug it in. Thank y'all. It was an eye for an eye. That's the way they were calling it. I didn't call it that. They're calling it an eye for an eye. But they're making it like, I wonder if GoFundMe sent that man's family, sent that young man's family a an apology. Okay? But you always come on here with this foolishness, man. That's why, America will never be great. It was never great because of the history and how it even evolved. Oh yeah, that's fake stuff, man. I believe. I think we paid $10 for that. Yeah, I think we paid. I think we paid 500 for that. You can get all that stuff over here, Alpina. Crazy. But yeah, man. You get tired of that stuff. You know, I don't care. You know, but let me get my notes. But yeah, a guy made a comment on my video today. He said, "Man, you're fortunate enough to be able to retire early and enjoy it." Yeah, it is right on, man, because he didn't know who to strike out against. So he struck out against the system. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying when you're hiding the identity of the police who killed his son, Joe didn't say that. They didn't tell you who did it. Okay, they didn't even put him on administrative leave. He's still working. You know, there's no judge on this planet that would have sentenced that young man to death for the crimes that he supposedly had committed. But these police are taking it into their own hands. See? And it's going to take more people like Rodney Hinton Jr. to start striking back to stop these cocksuckers in their tracks because they're not above the law. Okay? Now, if more people did that, they would think twice about killing these guys, shooting them. Man running from the police. In 6 seconds, he gonna determine that the guy was, the gun was never, he never shot the gun. And the police is gonna police themselves and get away with it. Okay, I'm sorry. 2 people got killed, Joe. Not just the police. You didn't know the boy either. You're gonna call him a thug because you're going by what the police say and what the media say. Well, people are getting tired of that. Hey, thank you, bad boy. See, and when you start talking facts, y'all get mad. Okay, that will stop it. Okay, now what's going to happen is it's going to make the police angry. They're going to go out and assault or arrest or harass some innocent people in Cincinnati. Okay, here's what I'm saying. Okay, he said nobody's telling him how to feel about his son, but you just can't do that. So it's okay to kill his son without giving him due process. He said, but you can't go around killing people. Okay, the police killed his son. RABA. Okay, we're not saying to sign off. I don't agree with that. But you can't tell that man what to do. He saw the same, he saw a different tape than us. He saw more of it than we did, RABA. You only got the media aversion where they stop it when the police pulled the gun up. The boy was running. Okay, he wasn't trying to shoot that police. Why? Why would he shoot the damn police? It sounds stupid. You can't go around killing people. Well, that's exactly what the police did. The man's driving in a stolen car. He's running from the police. Is that a death sentence to you? I guess to you it is. America never be great, man. Never was great. Okay, that's all a lie, really. And it'll never be great again, even if it was great, but it wasn't. Go back and see how America was created, developed, and everything. And tell me that what is great. And then it says, God bless America. What kind of God are y'all dealing with that puts up with the kind of shit that goes on in America? And you got a certain segment of the population that think that they own America, that they're the only ones supposed to enjoy what's going on in America. Okay, I'm always going to push back against that. Yeah, he says, why do we always have to forgive people for their injustices? Right. You're going to tell people how to think. Nobody killed your son. I'm telling you that I was right where he was. When them cocksuckers ran in my house by mistake, they didn't stop and say, hey, Mr. Roach, let's make sure we got the right house. No, in their minds, every black man was a drug dealer. They ran over my family. They better be glad I didn't have a gun because I wouldn't be sitting here right now. You'll be on somebody else's live stream. Because they'd have took me out, but I'd have took a couple of them out too. Basically breaking in my house like that. I'm always going to push back on stupid shit like that y'all people talking about. You know, hey, Andrew, Steer, thanks for your support. See, I'm fooling with this so stupid. He's asking me, had I ever been to DeVal? I have, and I really like DeVal. I really like DeVal. Certainly Samar. TJ took us to Samar Island, and that would be the reason I would move to DeVal. Now, in St. Carlos City, we've got Sapaway Island, which is 8 minutes away. Samar is 8 minutes away from DeVal, but Sapaway is not Samar. Okay? But yeah, I really like DeVal. It's clean, it's safe. I like it. I've been there, though, a long time ago when Duterte was still the mayor. So you could eat off the ground. I was getting, in 2010, when I went, I was in 2011. Because I went in 2010 and 2011. 2011, because my Filipino wife was, she was pregnant with our son. I was getting a massage on the city plaza at 10 o'clock at night. Ain't nobody bothered you. You get into taxis and they'll start apologizing for the taxis in Manila, man. And even to this day, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to find this new member, man. I can't see when I'm on my phone. This share your referral link. It's all in my comment section. Where I got to move around, it just stands there. I wonder if I just hit it, okay, and take it off. Maybe it'll take it off, but I don't guess it will. But Andrew Steer, thank you. And welcome to the fourth quarter. I really appreciate your support. Okay, Marcus Brown says they're trying to push the people into a race war in the U.S., and people that don't have compassion for each other are falling for it. There are the so-called patriots that don't see race. I think it's just so ignorant, man, that we're still on this racial thing, and people actually think that The United States belongs to them, or the world belongs to them. It's no different than what's going on in Gaza. Okay, it's no different, man. You got Israelis over there, the Zionists over there, who are saying that God gave them that land, and the land belongs to them, right? Crazy, man. And they're not gonna stop until they kill everybody over there, and they get that land. Not realizing they done forgot about World War II when Hitler was killing them indiscriminately like that. They're not killing people in ovens anymore. They're killing them with bombs. They're setting them on fire with bombs and stuff. Same thing, you dead. But this is the world we live in. That's white supremacy, man. That's what that is. That's apartheid. You know, and you get tired of it, man. You get tired of living under that your whole life. He said, Cal, you may as well leave these folks alone. They will never get it. You smartly left this country. Be at peace. Save yourself a heart attack. I'm not going to get a heart attack. I understand what you're saying, but you got to push back at people like this. I'm sorry, but you do. Not to the point where I'm just online. There's people watching me. I'm not going to let that stuff slide. But that's the problem. We stood by and tolerated it too much. We need to do something about it. We need to enforce the laws that are on the books. You got to be ignorant in 2025 to think your skin makes you more intelligent and better and more entitled and whatever else you want to think about. No, I'm going to push back against that because I'm sick of it. I told my mother when I was 10 years old, I said, I'll be glad when I grow up I won't have to deal with this racism. Yeah, right. It's worse now. He says, I was in West Africa 5 months having the time of my life with all races, doing business and having fun without one single incident. Now I have to come back to the hater spirit. Yeah, USA for my kids. It's a culture shock, but people don't believe me when I said it. I mean, they throw the money at you over there and all that. I was in the store. I don't know, because I really can't tell. And I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't know if they're Palestinian. I don't know if they're Iranian, Iraqi, whatever it is, Indian. But I went to the store, because they treat everybody the same. They just look at you like, yeah, we're going to disrespect everybody, all of you. And the man throws the money in my hand, man. I mean, it took all the patience that I've learned over here in the Philippines not to go off on this clown. Fool, you in my neighborhood disrespecting me like that. See, we got to push back on that. We got to make people stop doing that. Otherwise, they're going to continue to do it. But everybody knew when Trump took office again, it was the same thing in 2017. From January 2017 to his orange ass left in January 2021, those type of hate crimes and incidents like that increased. We knew it was going to happen, and it's going to keep happening. And those people are going to come out of the woodwork thinking that they run something. He says, I don't know about the vigilantism being the answer, but I don't have the answer either. I have crazy issues with the police and the tyranny that goes down on their behalf on a daily basis. That's right. But doing nothing's not going to help either, Richie Rich. Doing nothing's not going to help either. And that's the problem. We're doing nothing. If more people sacrifice, okay, because we don't want to sacrifice. We won't change, but we don't want to sacrifice. We don't want to stop buying certain things. Okay? Nobody wants to die anymore for what they believe in. There's not going to be any change. But if this man, Rodney Hinton, If more people do what he did, it's going to change something. Those police are going to stop for just a split second and think, oh, well, are they going to come after my family? Okay. What do you call what the police did? If he's not a vigilante, they surely didn't give the young man due process. The crime he was guilty of, okay, that he was being arrested and sought for, does not carry a death penalty. I'm sorry, it doesn't. But he was killed for riding around in a stolen car, running from the police, and basically carrying a gun. If you want to believe the police, as much as the police lie, okay, when it comes to situations like this, why do you blame me for not believing them? I'm sorry. If I'd have had a gun when them people ran into my house, I would have shot one of them. Yeah, he said the police in the Philippines are so much better than in the West. It's refreshing. Well, here's the problem. Here's the difference, Rob. The police in the Philippines just so happen to be people who have a job as the police. They don't change when they put that uniform on. We've got a sickness in America. They put that uniform on. Guys, look, I grew up with people who become police. You don't even know them anymore. You don't even know them anymore. They put their uniform on. They become somebody totally different. Now they're the military or whatever it is. Okay? And they get mad at me because I'm outspoken. They put on that uniform. You can't even ask the police a question. You go up to the damn police and shoot you down. Like, hey, I'm afraid of the police over there. I'm sorry, I am. I'm scared to death of the police. When they get behind me, I ain't done nothing wrong. They get behind me in the car, I'm shaking. I'm like, that's not normal. That's not normal. Yeah, that's Andrew. Thank you, man, for your support. I'm trying to deal with this phone. See, that's why, because they got this. See, StreamYard is pushing this. They want people to join for some reason. And they've got this big share your referral link right where your comments are. So I can't see your comments. It takes a long time to get to your comments. But I was seeing where a lot of truck drivers are having problems now because of these tariffs. There's just not enough, loads. But they said 90% of truck drivers voted for Trump. They don't care that his policies are gonna destroy them. All they want is to get rid of shut this southern border. That's all they worried about. As if that's gonna change their life. You gotta change your life, not Trump. I'm trying to see this and I can get to y'all. This is crazy, man. That's why I started using my phone. Using my he said, Cal, go plan a visit to Vietnam. You enjoy the country. But see, I'm afraid to leave the country, really. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to have to put up with that stuff, man. You know, they got me like a prisoner in the Philippines, really. When I do leave, it's going to be with the mindset that, okay, if I come back, if they don't let me in, they just don't let me in. But right now, I don't want to leave. I'm not trying to do that. But this is what I have to deal with. I don't know about anybody else. I was talking to Marilyn today, asked her, because she really wants to go to visit TJ and his girlfriend, and I guess it would be a little different if I went, here it is right here. Sorry. Hey, Marlon, thank you for the super chat. He said, congratulations on being back to the Philippines. Too bad you ran out of time and couldn't stop by Houston to hang out with some of your supporters here. Yeah, but I'm certainly going to do that. I owe Houston. But thank you, Marlon. He said, I think the cops are already scared of that. No cop wants to get in that situation. Most cops don't even want to shoot him back. Well, that's what, how do you know? Okay. If you're scared, don't be a police. They give you all of that training, okay? And all you know to do is to kill somebody. What about all the other types of um, conflict resolution? There's no other way you could resolve that. You got to kill the man. And then the only thing they go, oh, I fear for my life. That's the only thing they say. You ain't fearing for your life. You chasing the man. Okay? I mean, why are you chasing him? It's not like he killed somebody. Man, y'all try to justify what these people do, man. You get to the point where you're tired of it. And people are getting tired of it. Hey, what's up, Jigs? That's all I'm saying. You can't tell people how to act. R68 DBR says, I never changed when I put on any uniform. Yeah, well, I applaud you then, but a lot of them do. And then when Reagan in the 80s, he militarized the police, gave them all them weapons and all that, man. It's like, it's like, well, why do y'all, all police aren't bad? Well, all black people aren't bad either. Somebody needs to tell y'all that because y'all treat us all the same. And we're tired of it. I'm tired of it. That's why I left. I'd rather leave than stay there and do something stupid because I'm not going to let them do anything to me. Okay? Yeah, they're just real people, man. The only time they ever stop me over here is to take a picture with me. That's one thing I like about the Philippines. I am not the number one suspect over here. They do not follow me around when I go to the mall or the grocery store. They don't cross the street when they see me coming. And all that old stupid stuff. When I'm earning more money than some of these cocksuckers that want to lock their door and think I'm going to snatch their purse, you get tired of that stuff. I've been dealing with that my whole life, man. How you going to tell me how to think? Well, it's already over here already. That's why it's so hard to move certain places. Okay, if you don't believe me, I sent the link to TJ and W Secret to Success, where there's a article, and they're talking to some people, and they're saying, man, Patia is not what it used to be. You know, they're talking about, and it's talking about the type of people who are showing up over there now. They said it went from being a paradise to basically a shithole, is what they're saying. But now when you turn on YouTube, you're going to see a lot of people making vlogs saying the same thing. That one guy that just came back, him and his girlfriend, what's the name? And they said, yeah, we came back from Thailand earlier than they planned. And, he was talking about the tourists over there. You know, people are coming over there with that mindset, that old Matrix mindset. But they want you to think you're stupid. They're not what you're seeing, living, and experiencing. It's not what you're seeing, living, and experiencing. I've been dealing with it my whole life. I used to have to fight the Ku Klux Klan just to go to school in the 7th grade. with their busing and stuff. They all in their uniforms in the middle of the street, burning crosses and stuff. Didn't want us going to school. Like we were the ones responsible for that legislation. Why don't you vent your anger toward the people who made that possible? Or, for that matter, the authorities, why don't you just spend the same amount of money in our neighborhoods that you spend in everywhere else? And we won't have to leave the neighborhood to go to school 27 miles away. Of course they do. He said the police in America enjoy their power way too much. You see the guy that got killed in Memphis, right? And everybody's making, oh, these were black police that killed him. It doesn't matter, man. The big blue line, they're all in there together. Man, the camera doesn't lie. They saw them beat this man to death. Okay. The two police, there was 5 of them. 2 of them got scared because they knew they were guilty. They already, struck a plea deal. They, but the other 3 said, no, we're going to trial. And they beat the charges, the state charges. Oh, they're going to prison on the federal charges. You're not going to kill a man like that. But that's why. It's a lot of jury nullification. They act like our lives don't matter over that. I'd be damned. He said, I shake too when the police get behind me. That's not normal, but I do. I'm like, well, what are these people gonna do? They're gonna stop me, and the lights gonna come on. Then what? Remember your girlfriend there used to be a threat when they would say, oh, we'll call the police on you. That man, that's a legitimate threat now. Because people didn't listen to it at first. You don't want the police coming anywhere near you now over there. Because they're going to turn a mountain into a molehill, man. Okay? But see, we can't get beyond it because we seem to think that uh, certain lives are more valuable than others. It's just not. I'm sorry, it's not. Our lives are. But see, this is the problem right here. This is the problem right here. This is what that old sleepy Joe Biden lied about. This is what he was supposed to do, but never did. See, I don't like none of them. They think I just don't like Trump. I didn't like Obama either. I didn't like Bush. I didn't like Clinton. I didn't like Bush. I didn't like none of them. Reagan, any of them in my lifetime. But this is what he was supposed to have did. This is the promise he made to the black community, but he didn't do it. We didn't hold his feet to the fire. Oh, sleepy bastard. That's why he went to sleep on stage and they got rid of him. The universe is always watching. He's supposed to have did that. All you got to do is remove qualified immunity, and a lot of that stuff will stop. That's what happened to me. They committed so many crimes that night when they ran in my house. But you had qualified immunity, wiped it clean, so you can't even bring charges against these people. Thanks to the Patriot Act, which most of y'all don't even know what the Patriot Act, what's inside of that, but you agreed to it. Yeah, see these borders, they're man-made anyway. Imagine, see, here's the thing. Some people think that they're God, okay? And they make these borders, they're invisible borders. Okay, look right now, you got Pakistan and India fighting. Then go back into history. Those are really the same people. Okay. But the British came in and drew up those lands over there and said, okay, you're Pakistani now, you're Indian. Same, man, look, same with Kuwait and Iraq and a lot of the other borders, you know, these people, some people think they're God. So they draw this stuff up like that. No, it doesn't matter what the police are. See, this is what I'm talking about. He said they changed because of their daily environment, because they become a problem. Their daily environment. Well, they volunteered for it. We're not making people. Okay, we don't have a police draft. Okay, and most of the time they're doing nothing. V7. Most of the time, police 97% of their day is doing nothing. So I don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. But I know I'm sick of police over there because they occupy my neighborhood. We're not the ones bringing in the drugs. There's more white folks using drugs and crack and heroin and all that than we are. But they stay with their foot on our neck, man. This is the facts. I'm tired of it. He says, I said, add a lot more limits to qualified immunity for the police. Well, we need to remove it. As far as I'm concerned, it'll stop all that stuff when they can be held accountable. They know that they, more than likely, okay, if they got some type of shaky ass tape or something, that they probably gonna beat the case. They beat the case in Memphis, where they showed him kicking a man, beating a man. They killed him. 3 days later, he died. But then the police want to start bringing in what they found in his car. Well, we found some drugs in his car. Well, they wasn't in his system. And they said, well, he would have resisted. It wouldn't have resisted arrest. We wouldn't have beat him like that. Whatever. Okay, what did they get him for? Running a stop sign or something like that. Whatever it was, it didn't constitute a death sentence, guys. That's what y'all missing. These people aren't killing people. And they talking about, oh, we found a debit card in his card. It wasn't in his name. Oh, yeah, big deal. I give Maryland my debit card sometimes to go to the bank or to the store. Yeah, people are wising up to it. And that's why I said, you watch. They're going to try to raise some money for that Rodney Hinton Jr. Okay, because a lot of he did what a lot of people want to do. They just don't have the courage to do it. It's just like that Luigi Mangione. That's why he became a folk hero too. Just like this Rodney Hinton Jr. is becoming a folk hero. Because they're striking back against the system. They're doing something that a lot of people want to do. They're afraid to do it. And when they see people like that doing it, they're going to raise it. But GoFundMe shut that down quick. They didn't let the campaigns get started. Then they wrote an apology letter to the FOP. See, that's bullshit right there. But George Zimmerman, who was charged with a serious crime, a violent crime, he was allowed to raise $200,000. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. We just be having conversations, man. But certainly if you're in the Philippines, you don't have these type of conversations. With your girl, be like, did you eat yet? Did you take a bath? Did you legal? Are you hungry? That's about it. You don't really get to talk like this. I like it. That's why I get so excited. I'll be like, well, I get my feel 2 or 3 times a week. Otherwise, man, it's crickets. And you can tell. But yeah, that guy, uh, he took matters into his own hands. There ain't nothing we can say about that because it wasn't our son. He said conflict resolution, de-escalation. It's not a strategy. What's he saying? Uh, Wait, let's see. He said it's not a strategy when you're armed. Yeah, but the thing is, I could see if the man is shooting back or something. But remember, Michael Beecher, like we're going by what the police said. Okay, look how many police have been caught lying and saying, "Oh, he had a gun," "I felt, my life was in danger," and all that. Right? See, you can't blame me for not. I don't believe a damn thing they say because they lie too much. You can't be right 100% of the time. Michael Beecher Life or whoever else it is. The man was running away from them. That's not a death penalty. That's not a death sentence. You know, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Well, I'm going to get rid of you, man, because you're ignorant. Okay? We would do better policing ourselves. You know, you and Anton Daniels can kiss somebody's ass. Okay? Because we're not the only ones selling drugs. We're the little guys. Okay? You're nothing but a you're nothing but a troll for real. I tolerate you though, you know, because you know how far to go. You go right there to the line. We don't need them how they are in our neighborhood. I mean, my neighborhood is occupied by the police. Okay. It's not even, it's out of the ordinary if you don't see a police. I remember I used to see policemen drinking, driving down, going to, because they had the, where me and my American wife used to live when we first met. There was a, precinct. It was right down the street. It was right there in the complex. And they be coming to work drinking. Well, it just depends on who you listening to. Who says the crime's out of control? Who says the crime's out of control? That doesn't mean just kill people indiscriminately. Remember, guys, we got due process. Okay? The crimes that these young men are committing are not death sentence crimes. You know, it is no crazy work. The police are doing too much, and until you go through it, there's a reason why we all pay for their negligence when they get hit with these big ass lawsuits. Everybody does. You got to understand racism and all that stuff affects everybody. Okay? If you live in a city where, the police have done something shaky and they pay out these big lawsuits, you're paying for it. You know, but they are doing too much. Hey, thanks to Naughty American Expat. Just like Richie Rich said, I don't have the answer. That's what he was talking about when, you know, you're talking about vigilantism is not the answer, but he doesn't have the answer. And I'm the same way when it comes to these police. I don't have the answer, but I know that killing people for these old foolish ass crimes they're committing, shoot them in the back and all that, is not the answer either. Okay? But I'm gonna tell you something. If more men like Rodney Hinton Jr. say, okay, look, you take out my son, I'm gonna take out yours, they'll stop. They'll stop. Well, now that they're doing it, they're actually doing it. I was actually eating lunch with a retired policeman, and he was sort of like this type of uh, officer you're talking about. His duty was to go around and basically deal with the homeless people and try to get them help and get them set up instead of escalating every damn. Anytime the police call, they're automatically at 10. Okay, I'm sorry, but you're right. We're we have to have something going on. When I visited London, and this is the 80s, I don't know about now. You know what the crazy thing was? I'd never seen it before. The police didn't even have guns. They did not have guns. So I know there's another way. It's our culture, though. You know, he says you can't tell people how to act, but you damn sure can make some do it. I don't understand. You know, there was a young policeman that was just killed on a domestic call, V. Okay, because they really aren't trained on how to handle those situations. Those are the most dangerous calls. That's the call that police really fear the most. It was a young woman officer. I don't know where she was, but you know how, on Facebook it's like pray for the family, not Facebook, YouTube, and it have the Fox 11 News, Alive 11 News, and have the link underneath. But yeah, she was on a domestic call. No, but see, defunding the police, y'all don't understand. It doesn't mean taking all the money away from the police. Y'all need to find out what that really means, because y'all don't understand what that means. Okay, I'm sorry. You know, a lot of times, what really gets me is the hypocrisy in America. We're supposed to be so damn religious. Okay, that's the problem I've got. Okay, we're so religious on one hand, on the other hand, all the shit that goes on over there. Somebody's got to be a real Christian, but they're not. Those were Christians that dropped them bombs on uh, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You got to understand. Bush and all those guys, those are supposed to be Christians, lying in front of Congress to start their war, kill all them innocent men, women, and children in Iraq. Those are Christians, supposedly. You know, but people will sit back as long as it's not. See, people like Brand Nichols and a lot of guys on here, they say all the stupid stuff because it's not happening to them. Once it starts happening in their backyard or to them, then it's a problem. Okay, that's why a lot of white people, they always get triggered when I talk about racism. Well, you're not facing racism. You don't have to deal with it. You can sit back and deny it and say, oh, it's not happening. How would you know? You're not facing it. They didn't have no Jim Crow laws for white folks in America. Okay? Black people just started voting in the 20th century, man. Without fearing for their life and all that stuff. You know, that's what's wrong with America, man. It'll never be great. It's never been great. It'll never be great. It's going down, man, simply because the universe is always watching. All that shit they've been doing, man, it's going to come back and haunt them. And they voted for Donald Trump. Now they, you know, he used the MAGA. Now that he's in there, he's like, I don't give a damn. All you truck drivers that voted for me, okay, you're going to lose your job. I don't care. All you people getting food stamps and all that, okay, sorry. The Walmart and all that, sorry. I don't need you anymore. I use you. I'm in office now. And people are going to wisen up to this stuff in a minute. But we look at politics like it's a basketball game. My side is winning, not caring that you voting against your best interest. You know, he has no plans for the tariffs and all of that stuff. Do you realize that they're under investigation right now for market manipulation? That's all these tariffs are, and all this pause and stuff, and you know, he'll put something out there in the news, some jack up everything. But most of the people watching this, they're not in the stock market. Okay, well, we're blue collar people. You probably got a 401 and it's struggling. Most of the people who are watching this, you don't have, you're not deep in the stock market like that. Well, a lot of times, Richie Rich, it is. A lot of times it is. A lot of times it is. We're all human beings. Can't we just get along? You know, do you really have to think that you're better than me because of the color of your skin or what neighborhood you live in or the amount of money you got in the bank and all of that? Why don't people just practice their religion and all of that? Yeah, it is really simple, to be honest with you. You have to go out of the way to be a racist. Okay? You got to go out of your way to do that. You got some crazy thinking going on. You got to really believe some way out there stuff. Okay? To be a racist. That's just a fact. You got to be way out there and then show up Sunday at church praying. That's what gets me. These damn police. No, there was no speeding. See, you're making up stuff. What if it wasn't none of that? They were stopped. As a matter of fact, I used to live in Cincinnati. I know exactly where they were in Price Hill. They're in an apartment complex. They stopped. And there was no chase. They started chasing on foot. There was no putting nobody's life in jeopardy. But believe that if you want to. I'm not going to argue with you. Because I'm not over there. I'm not going to tolerate it. They know better. I'll be like Rodney Hinton Jr. Okay, that's why I left. That's exactly why I left, because I was getting that close. And it's a lot of people over there getting close, V. So all you guys like that, I told you Trump gonna get some of y'all whooped over there. Y'all think he got y'all's back and all that. He don't. Y'all gonna get whooped over there. And then the minute that Trump goes out of office, you're gonna blend back into the woodwork. That's why I make videos that I make. I like to bring y'all out. I want to see who you are so I can deal with you. I can't deal with you when you're in the woodwork. Hide. Okay? Because that's what you do. But now that Trump's in office, now here you are out in the open, talking all crazy. Like you really something. Y'all gonna get whooped, man. You watch what I tell you. Yeah, but we work for that. Talking about this shows you how ignorant people is. He's talking about Social Security from the U.S. gives the expats supremacy. Everybody doesn't get Social Security. We don't get the same amount. It depends on how much you worked, what kind of job you had, how much money you earned. But we certainly earned that. It's not given to us. Okay? And it's people like you who only talk about that because you're not getting it. I don't owe America shit. Put that on your book. Everything I got, I worked for. I earned it. I had no say so in the wheel of life stop and let me off in America, because when I was born in 1963, America wasn't the place to be for black folks, for everybody. Okay? Now might be a good place for you to be, for the wheel of life to let you off. But in 1963, it wasn't for my mother and father. So imagine my mother was born in 1931. My father was born in 1929. It wasn't a good place to be, okay? But because of all the shenanigans and all the other stuff they do, it's becoming a better place. We're controlling all the damn Earth's natural resources and everything. So people are literally coming to the United States to avoid starving. That's the only reason. That's the only way you're going to fix that, because it's unequal. Hey, Levin Charlie. So he's an emboldened every troll and every behind the scenes racist Trump has, and they're on their job. But I knew it was going to happen. He said, "Yeah, Calvin and I are the same age, and I was bused to school as well." Yeah, but when I tell people that, they don't believe it. They think I'm making it up. Every day our windows get busted out in the bus. Imagine you're 12 years old. You're going to school just to learn. You don't really understand what's going on. They got little kids in the street with their hoods and stuff on, burning crosses and stuff. They don't want you going to school, okay, like they're something special. But then when it finally cools down and they take their hoods off and they blend back into the woodwork, these are the same people you sitting next to in class. See, that's why I make the videos I make, because I bring them out. I expose them. You know, the numbers reflect that. They want to hear that stuff from me because they look at it when I talk about race. Because one of my next videos is going to be about race. I'm going to trigger a lot of them. Yeah, yeah. Uh, well, sometimes you do got to fight fire with fire. See, all that old. Um, a lot of people didn't agree with the nonviolence. That's not going to work today. Okay, we don't have the attention of the world anymore anyway. The attention of the world really is focused on basically Gaza and Ukraine to a certain extent, but mostly Gaza. What they doing to black people, we had our time in the light now. It's time for us. We got to stand up. We got to fight now, because the world ain't coming to save us. He said, I'm multiracial myself. You said it all right there. You know, it's funny, man, when back in the day, certain people would die. They didn't want the blood from black donors. They actually thought their blood was different. This is the type of foolishness that we still hold on to over there. He said, I believe we all need to coexist peacefully. You would think we'd be able to. However, I don't think we should resort to violence or harm others randomly. I think you're preaching to the choir. I mean, you got to tell the people that, man, you know, it's okay when they're doing it. But if we strike back, now you're talking about, oh, don't resort to violence and vigilantism. Like the history of the United States is not full of vigilantism. What do you think the Ku Klux Klan was? And all them other Nazi groups and all that stuff is. As long as they cracking our heads, it's okay. But when we turn around and start cracking their damn heads, oh, violence is not the answer. Well, they sure think it's an answer for their side. A lot of the police, and this is coming from the FBI, a lot of the police on these forces belong to these white supremacist groups. Okay? They don't have a problem shooting down, you know, 9 whites and backing each other up. He said, what's the exchange rate? Yeah, it's 55.56. You know, I don't even know why it's going down. When I left the Philippines in March, it was almost 58. It's lost 2 pesos to the dollar. You say, okay, that's not that much. It is. It really is a lot. For every $1,000 that I spend, I'm losing $50 now. Okay, he says, what did he say? Because cops are responsible for a split second, you mean irresponsible? He said, life-changing decision. Okay, he said, because cops are responsible for a split second. Life-changing decisions by dealing with people who may or may not be an immediate threat. I don't understand what you're saying right here. All I'm saying, though, is, Cisco, we have rights as citizens, okay? Due process, first of all. First of all, you can't stop me. See, stop and frisk is illegal. But they think because if you're a certain color in America, they think they can stop you, and they come up with little tactics to stop you for anything. Okay? This is what happened to those boys in Cincinnati, I guarantee you. You can't look at a car and tell if it's stolen or not. If you stop and frisk enough people, eventually you're going to find some guilty people. And those are the ones you put in front of the camera. What about the hundreds and hundreds of others who are not guilty, who are innocent people going about their business? You can't allow that. That's why they said it would be better for 100 guilty people to be set free, Cisco, than one innocent person to languish in jail. This is what makes America great. Y'all are crazy. Our forefathers knew better than that. They said it'd rather to let 100 guilty men go free than let one innocent man languish in jail. But y'all think it's okay because they police. Oh, and everybody's a thug. There's something called rule of law. And this is what's going on right now. They're trying to usurp the rule of law. They're trying to say it don't even matter anymore. There's a man over there right now in El Salvador in that torturous prison over there where the Supreme Court said facilitate his return. Trump says, I'm not going to do it. He's setting a precedent, man. A dangerous precedent. Guys, you got to push back against that. There's a rule of law for a reason. Otherwise, man, everybody's constitutional rights is going to be getting stepped on to the point it's like you don't have any rights. That's what, I'm talking about. If they violate one person's right, it says every person should have due process. It didn't say every American. But it's always the people who get the pass is always speaking the loudest. I'm telling you what happened to me. I don't have a police record. And the SWAT team came up on my house because they didn't, when I filed charges in the internal affairs, you know what the police told me? He said, Mr. Roach, if you'd have lived on Hurstbourne Lane, which is a rich white neighborhood, basically, in Louisville, Kentucky, he said, this would have never happened to you. The police told me that. He said, because they would double and triple check to make sure they had the right address and they were coming in there for the right people. But because you're a black man and you living in the hood, they didn't have a second thought about it. And they could have killed my whole family. They devastated us. They terrorized us. We've never been the same. And I'm telling you right now on YouTube, you can shut my channel down or whatever. If I'd have had a gun, I'd have took some of them rotten son of a bitches out. Because they never apologized. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. But y'all sit here talking about, oh, it's not that bad. It is. Because I want to tell you I'm the only one. They killed that girl, Breonna Taylor. Woman ain't had nothing to do with drugs. They had the nerve to think, oh, yeah, we got the right house. Bullshit. Y'all be messing with the wrong guy, man. Y'all don't want to mess with me. Because I'm going to push back. I'm going to speak my man. And that's the reason I left the United States. And I never lived there again because I know that they're going to push me to a point where I'm not going to take it. I'm going to snap. I'm going to snap just like Rodney Hinton Jr. snapped. I understand where he's coming from. But here it was. Like I said, I want to find I'm going to find the video. It's on Facebook where the white guy has got the gun. Okay? You can go on YouTube if there was a white guy in San Diego was pointing the gun. He's in the middle of the street. This is different from what I was talking about. I just thought about this one. They shot him in the stomach. Okay? They didn't try to kill him. Okay? It is a difference because it's the way that they think. They look at all of us as if we're a criminal. And that's the way they treat us. But there's a video going around now. You can hear the people who are behind the camera saying, oh, if he was a black man, they'd have been and killed him. And it's true. So you can be in denial all you want. They treat white people a certain way over there, police do, than they do blacks. When it comes to that, they de-escalate the shit, Michael Beat Your Life, real quick. But you would think that we could have, I'm 61, man, I'll be 62. You would have think that through all the civil rights, everything else, that all this stuff would have been gone by now, at least to the point where, it's not as blatant as it is now. It's still blatant over there. I can't deal with it. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, The only thing worse than racism is racism deniers who think it doesn't exist. But it's funny how, okay, that you bring this up, RD68DVR, because you make a great point here. He said regular British citizens are not allowed to own guns. Same in Korea, Japan. Now, in Korea and Japan, and mostly in Asia, not the Philippines, but mostly in Asia, these are people who are non-religious people. And their crime and their murders and everything are so much lower than these God-forsaken countries. Okay, like America and different ones. America's top 3 most religious country on the planet, one of the most wicked planets. So make that make sense to me. When are the good people going to step up, okay, and do something? There are no good people in charge, in power, because all those countries you're talking about, they don't believe in that invisible God up there, the white man with the beard. But yet they don't have all the problems we have. And we go to church. Black people go to church more than anybody in the United States. It doesn't help us. The United States is 3rd behind Philippines, number 1. I think Argentina 2, America's 3. In the percentage of people who believe in God. What? Only when it's convenient in America. I can only speak for America. We do everything under the damn sun. We're the most violent country on the planet. Dropping bombs right now, innocent people, as I'm speaking on here right now. But we got God bless America. Okay. Yeah, they didn't have, well, I don't know about now. It may be different now with all this, and then it just depends on who commits the crime as to whether or not it's considered a terrorist event or not. They reserve that label for certain people, mainly Muslims. Okay. Because, okay, here recently, I'm trying to think, where did it happen where the guy, oh yeah, in Canada, where the man ran over the people at the Filipino Lapu Lapu Festival before they even knew who did it. Guess what the police said, or whatever they are over there, constables or whatever? Oh, we're sure this isn't an act of terror. Because they reserve that label for certain people. That is an act of terror. That's the people who got injured and the families of those who were killed, if that's not terrorism. A man takes a truck and plows through the crowd, peacefully celebrating the Lapu Lapu Festival. But the man sits there in front of the camera and tells you, oh, we're sure it's not an act of terror. Well, what is it then? What do you consider terror, fool? But we've already been placed a label on who the bad guys are over there. I'm one of the bad guys. He says, am I too late? Why is it getting hard to live? Well, he said, to live abroad. Well, first of all, some of what we're leaving behind, people, circumstances, situations, are waiting for us at our new destination. That's why. Give me freedom. Welcome to the chat. This is why it's getting harder to live abroad. You're thinking, well, I'm going to leave America only to come to the Philippines and Thailand and places like that. And the same ignorant people that you're leaving over there, they're over here with the same stuff. Okay? You can't relax. You can't enjoy your retirement, without going out of your way to do it, which you shouldn't have to do that. you basically got to hide from people to enjoy yourself. What kind of life is that? Okay. But we talk about everything on here. I always come up with a topic, but we can talk about anything, which is what we eventually do. But it's too much hypocrisy over there. That's right. Everybody's not willing to do that. That wouldn't work today. But they said vigilantism is not the answer. Well, it is. You need to tell this that side, Richie Rich, because they're the ones who are doing that. It's not us. Okay? We've got something called due process, the rule of law. These police are killing people because because they think because they have the right to do it. They know they're going to get away with it. 3 police was acquitted in Memphis today on state charges of murder. When they murdered the man, it's right there on camera. They beat the man to death. All 5 of them would have been found not guilty, but 2 of them copped a plea before the trial because they knew they were guilty. They had already been found guilty in federal court. But the other 3 said, no, we're going to take our chances. We know who was killed, and we're the police. We got the thin blue line on our side. And they were right. The cameras don't mean anything anymore, guys. They can kill your ass because they're going to blame it on him. They said, well, if he wouldn't have been resisting arrest. Well, what did he do, first of all, to deserve a death sentence? Nothing he was charged with. I'm not sure about this. I really don't be thinking about this stuff only when I'm online. He said, Cal, what do you think about the cop city in Atlanta? I don't know. They're going overboard. But see, you don't see them like in, okay, places like Idaho, where all of these white supremacists, this is where the police should be. But while they got their foot on our necks, they're the ones who committing all these old crazy ass crimes. Running up in schools because they get a pass. I'm on the radar. I don't even have a police record. I'm on the radar in America. Okay? But certain people aren't on the radar. They slide under the radar. If I go and try to even think about buying a gun, they're going to be knocking on my door. But, putting more police in the community, we already seen that you can't arrest yourself out of the problem. But that's all we want to do. Yeah, what's racism that you know of? Well, let's let this smart guy answer it. Okay? When everything's run by white folks in America, how's it been racism towards whites? Y'all confuse hate with racism. Okay? Show me where there was actual legislation on the books, Joe, that obstructed the progress of white folks. Has that ever happened by another race in the United States? See, people like you are ignorant. I ain't even gonna waste time with you. Okay? Now I'm not going to the gun range. You're not gonna shoot me. I don't have no use for a gun. I've never owned a gun. I've never owned a gun. If I'd have owned a gun, I wouldn't be here right now. Okay? Because those police would have killed me because I'd have been protecting my family. But they ran over us like we were nothing. Never apologized. So y'all can speak from y'all's experience. I'm speaking from mine. I don't trust them. They lucky I didn't have a gun because somebody would be dead. Yeah, they all like to have behind religion. They know good and well. You're going to tell me that the presidents that sat in the Oval Office in America are Christians, okay? And then people want to get on my case because I don't want nothing to do with religion. Well, that's my First Amendment right as an American to practice religion or not, okay? But when you tell people, oh, I don't practice religion, now all of a sudden they'll discriminate against you. That's why people are able to get away with so much stuff. All they got to do is say, oh, I'm a Christian, and you let them in. That's the free pass to get in and wreak havoc on the system. That's the password. That's the code word. I'm a Christian. That's all you got to do is say you're a Christian. You don't even have to live that way, you know. But if you're trying to tell me that these lying ass politicians, police chiefs, and all these people are Christians, of course I don't want anything to do with religion at all. Okay, I just have to take my chances. If this God is that petty, okay, to give me, if I really do have, free thought, okay, because that's not free thought. If I don't believe exactly the way they say I believe, then I'm gonna burn forever. That's not free thinking. No, that's more like slavery. And there's nobody doing it. There's nobody doing it. But they make it so easy. Oh, just profess that you believe. You don't have to act like it. You know, people get quiet when they start talking about religion because the world wouldn't be in the effed up position it is if everybody practiced their religion. Just practice it. Okay, that's all you got to do. He said, I wish it was all black and white, Richie Rich said. It is. Practice your damn religion. Okay, do what you profess to believe in. Love your neighbor as yourself and all that stuff. Okay? Act like you believe that there's somebody there watching you. But y'all don't act like that. Y'all act the opposite, like nobody's watching. As a matter of fact, you look at people here as God because that's who you accountable to. You're not accountable to that invisible man up there. That's why you lie and all that. If you really knew that there really was somebody up there and you believed it, you wouldn't act the way you do. And then you say, oh, yeah, I'm not perfect. We all fall short. All the time. You've been practicing religion all your whole damn life and you still haven't changed. You're still doing the same shit you was doing when you was 8 years old and you learned about your religion. Come on, man. Don't give me that stuff. Get mad at me. I don't care. Because y'all know I'm telling the truth. Yeah, okay. Let's look at this before I get off of here. Let's look at this before I get off of here. I'm gonna say this one more time, something like that to you, Joe, Brian Nichols, V, all the rest of you megas. He said, but Cal, if you're driving around a stolen car and the cops pull you over, it's not a good idea to jump out holding a gun. I'm surprised it took 6 seconds. Carry a deadly weapon while committing a crime. Okay, so tell me that anything that you said in here constitutes a death sentence. Okay? Does anything that you said right here, something like that, is there any judge in his right mind that follows the Constitution, that follows the rule of law, would have sentenced that young man to death, okay, for what you're saying he did? Because this is what you're saying. You don't even know. You're going by what the police telling you. You wasn't there. I don't believe anything the police say. Okay? They've been lying. They've been caught lying too much. They lied too damn much. Okay? Even the good cops, they won't come forward on the bad cops because there wouldn't be any bad cops. Remember the lady that shot the man in his own damn house in Dallas? They gave the lady 10 years. You should have got a life sentence, lady. But that's because they believed her. They believed that bullshit story she gave them. This man's in his underwear eating ice cream on the couch. And she gonna tell you, oh, I'm so tired. I walked in the wrong house on a whole other floor than she lived in. Bullshit. It didn't give the man no, didn't say, hey man, what are you doing? This is my house. No, you come in shooting, lady. That's the type of stuff I like. So now, get over here with that. I don't want to hear that foolishness that you talking about. You know, you didn't even say, hey man, do you got the wrong apartment? You're in my apartment. No, you didn't say nothing. The minute you open that door, you start shooting. The man didn't even have a chance. But now you want me to believe what these police in Cincinnati said. They already had. Why don't you go look something like that? Because history matters. When they shot the young black boy in his back, running from the police in Cincinnati, by the way, and the city exploded. Why don't you go there? They got a history of that foolishness in Cincinnati, Ohio. I should live in Cincinnati. Don't tell me. But I guess the God that he serves is going to forgive him for that. For killing, says thou shalt not kill. But he's going to get a job that's going to, that may or may not require him to kill people. And then he's going to turn around and go to church on Sunday and ask for forgiveness for unaliving somebody, as precious as life is. This is the hypocrisy that is America. You're supposed to love your neighbor, but you hate me. You don't even know me. You hate my kind. So yeah, y'all can take all that stuff. Yeah, they demons during the week. Then on on Sunday they, everybody, follows Jesus. And then when you confront them about it, it's crickets. They want to get mad at you. And we're supposed to be a Christian nation. They keep telling that lie when most of the founding fathers didn't even believe in that crap. That's what the First Amendment is about. The right to practice religion or not. Yeah, we'll talk about anything on here because most of us over here in the Philippines, we don't get a really chance to engage in a real conversation. Unless it's at a meet and greet or you live in a place where there's a lot of foreigners, like Angeles City or somewhere. Oh, well, I'm not worried about that because I haven't done anything wrong. Yeah, he said, this is about it. They want to take up for the police because they don't have to deal. The police give them a pass. They don't have to deal with the police over there in America. Okay? The police walk right by them. Okay, imagine, okay, the guy goes into the Walmart down in El Paso, Texas. A white man, by the way, kills 22 Mexicans or Latinos, okay? Injures 23 with an AK-47. He's literally blowing people's heads off. And don't you know, they give him a life sentence. They give him a life sentence. But Luigi Mangione kills one white man, and they giving him the death penalty. Okay. What about the man, the white guy who went in the grocery store in Buffalo, New York, and killed all them black people? Yep. They gave him a life sentence. Same with the white guy that killed the black people in Kroger's in my hometown, Louisville, Kentucky. They gave him a life sentence. This is what the death penalty is for. Okay? It's only the guy that they gave down in South Carolina, the only reason they gave him the death penalty because he had the nerve to kill those people in church. Dylan, what's his name? Well, y'all know who I'm talking about. And they still haven't killed him yet. So y'all can forget all that stuff with me. I'm always going to push back when it comes to race. And I'll be fighting for the rest of my life. Yeah, I mean, you gotta, okay, not only are they cowards, but they're some of the most unhappiest people in the world. You gotta be way out there to hate somebody for nothing or to hate somebody because of the color of their skin. Okay? Or if you are superior, MAGA, y'all watching me, if you MAGAs are so superior, then why do you need all the advantages that y'all want, that y'all got? Why do y'all need an uneven playing field? Since y'all so superior to every damn body, okay? Why do you have to have the rules stacked in your favor? Make that make sense to me. I'm 62. I'm fed up with it, man. I'm tired of it. That's why I get so passionate about it. It's time that we stop this foolishness, man. You know, you're crazy, man. Keep on with that old racism shit. They supposed to be superior. White supremacists. You know, it affects white folks too. But they're supposed to be so superior. But the minute, I mean, black men make up such a small percentage of population. We have so very little power. The power we do have, we don't use it. But they so worried about us. At any turn, they want to stop us. Okay? I mean, it's a shame, man. It really is a shame. You know, so they see me on here. They want to stop me. Okay? Hey, Aaron, thanks for that super chat. He says, violence is an answer. It's absolutely hilarious to me. Just look at history. Violence is all white people have ever known. This is what I'm telling Richie Rich. He's saying vigilantism is not the answer. Well, you speaking to the crowd, to the choir. I mean, you need to talk to the other side because that's all they've been doing. That's all the police is. You know, KKK. What do you think they were? The Nazis and all that. What do you think they were? That's violence. You know, but see, that's the teaching of black people, certainly black men, to be passive, you know, to be afraid. Okay? You know, you don't want to do anything to upset the system. Well, I'll be damned. I'm going to get these people off my back. Yeah, human rights and civil rights are two different things. This is what we should have been fighting for. But we fought for civil rights for everybody. It was human rights. Okay? But it's a damn shame when you got the greatest country in the world and you got to plead to them just to be treated civilly. But black history don't mean nothing to them. Those same white folks is living today with that same stuff. They teaching their children and their grandchildren and great-grandchildren that same bullshit. When we had to go to court just for civil rights. Let me get off here, man, because they ain't listening for real. But I just want them to know I'm not going to put up with it. You come to me with that foolishness and, okay, you're going to pay. It's that simple. Because you're not better than me. You're not smarter than me. Your skin color doesn't make you more entitled than me. If you was, you wouldn't need all them damn advantages you got. Level the playing field. That's why they get mad. That's why MAGAs get mad. Trump done set you off to the side now. You on your own. Step your game up. Go back to school. Get some training. Read. Okay, then you might make it somewhere. We're not giving you nothing. You're not getting nothing. I'm sorry. You're not getting nothing. And some couple of MAGAs claim that they were my supporters. You talk about Trump too much, so we're not going to follow you. I don't give a damn. I talk about all of them. Biden too. Obama too. Trump just so happen to be in office right now. And they get sensitive about that. Trump don't give a F about you. Every policy that he got is against your dumb ass, your poor ass. You ain't got no more than I got. But you MAGA. All that means is white supremacy. You think you better than somebody else. You think you more deserving. I got news for you on my channel. Okay? You're equal. Okay? If you can't deal with being equal, I'm sorry. Hey, Cisco, thanks for that super chat. He said, Cal, I need you to say earn. Earned and iron earned. That's hard to say. That's a tongue twister. I'm trying to find that, by the way, so I can put this up before I get off here. But yeah, let's just, Richie Rich says, why can't it just be black and white? It can be. It's real simple. We're all created equal. We're not born equal. Just make the playing field level. That's all. And then every man for himself. Don't make it like this. I've been fighting up the damn hill my whole life. I'm tired. And then you got these people who want to deny that racism exists. Man, y'all coming on the wrong channel with that. You want to trigger me? Talk about that it don't exist. Or that the police don't look at us a certain way that they do white men. When the FBI has done study after study after study that says you a damn lie. That says they don't stop y'all. But if they did, you 4 times more likely to have guns, drugs, and paraphernalia. But they don't ever stop you. They give you the benefit of the doubt. But black men are 4 times more likely to be stopped. These are facts. But they act like it don't matter. You better go somewhere else with that bullshit, man. And I don't care how you think. Oh, angry. No, I'm not angry. I'm passionate about that. I've been dealing with this shit my whole life. I'd be damned if you're going to come over here when I'm on, I'm retired. I'm going to live my life over here with that bullshit. Keep it in Angelique City or wherever you are. Don't bring it around me because I'm going to tell you about yourself. Motherfuckers ain't even got a damn pot to piss in and claim that they so much better than every damn body else. They got some people food. They don't have me food. I know you rotten, you raggedy fuckers ain't no better than nobody else. I hate to even have to, but that's how you got to talk to ignorant people. Okay, what's that? Okay. Hey, Aaron of Ishval, thanks for that super chat. He says, they pretend to support the blue no matter who until it's them. Yeah. Ashley Babbitt. And she was an actual terrorist. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, Is this the police that shot the man in his house? Is that who that is, Aaron? But they won't have to worry about it. They won't ever have to worry about it happening to them. You know, and then the black men on here who are taking up on it's because you lucky. Okay? If it happens to one of us, it happens to us all. Your time is coming. If you stay over there, your time is coming. Okay, there. Thank you, Cisco. But I'm gonna say this before I get off here. The only thing worse than racism is racism deniers. You the guys I got a problem with. It's right there staring in your face. You got a racist in the Oval Office. Probably the last 4 or 5, all the presidents probably were racist, even Obama. If you know what racism is. And y'all can take that religion and all that stuff with you too. Because it's not doing you any good. I would either quit religion altogether or get another religion because it's not working for you. If all you're going to do is keep saying you fall short, you're not improving at all. Okay, what do they say? The most segregated time in the United States is on Sunday at 11 a.m. Okay, we can't even go to church together. So take care, y'all. They say they're out of trouble. I'll see you next time. Trump don't give a damn about MAGA. He used them to get elected. Okay? He said truck drivers voted for Trump while he said he was going to do exactly what he did with tariffs. Yeah. They don't care, man. All they want to worry about is stop them brown people from coming over that border over there. They're so worried about that. It's not going to make them any smarter. They ain't going to put no more money in their pocket. Nothing. It's not going to save them, but they'll be able to say, oh, yeah, we got rid of some of them brown people. Okay. Take care, y'all.